And back home now, the Western Cape has been in the news for all the wrong reasons in recent days, owing to reports on violent crimes in the province. This prompted both the acting police minister, Professor Firoz Cachalia, and the Deputy Justice and Constitutional Development Minister, Andries, to visit some of the hotspots areas this week. Now, representatives from different civic organizations, religious leaders and community policing forums held talks, particularly on gang violence. And our reporter, Vanessa Poonah, has been tracking this particular story and joins us now. Vanessa, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. Now, while Mitchells Plain residents, of course, say that crime in the area has reached crisis levels, the minister says that he doesn't think that the Western Cape Police have a plan yet to defeat gangs. Tell us more.
Yes, good afternoon to you, or good evening rather. And it's not just the community of Mitchells Plain that have described the situation on the ground as a crisis. The minister indeed said so just now. They've just completed and concluded a community engagement here at the Mfuleni police station on the Cape. And what we've heard from communities here also is that crime has reached alarming levels. A short while ago, the police minister was talking about some of the stumbling blocks to policing, and one of them being crime intelligence. Now, I'm joined by the Deputy Minister for Justice and Constitutional Development, Andries. He was with Police Minister in Mitchells Plain as well as in Mfuleni. Let me just bring in you very shortly. Good evening to you, Minister. This, of course, is what Minister Cachalia said just now, is that crime intelligence has not yet reached the, shall we say, technological capacity needed to deal with organized crime, which we see playing out in especially poorer communities across Cape Town and also across the country.
Thank you very much. I think today was very, very important for us as a justice, crime prevention and security cluster to be here on the ground and to be here together. Because exactly to combat gang violence and organized crime requires our collective resources, including technological and intelligence resources. So, we made the point that the police need to be on the ground, they need to be running intelligence-driven operations, but they need to work with the prosecutors in the National Prosecuting Authority so that once they effect arrests, those cases, those dockets are tight and solid. Firstly, so that we can prevent people getting from bail, and secondly, that we can secure convictions, and thirdly, that we can secure heavy sentences. But then we've also got to work with correctional services, because we know that many of those gangs have built up fortresses within our prisons. Those have become command centers of organized crime and gang violence. From those prisons, they send people to our courts under the guise of appearing in courts when sometimes they are not appearing at all. They have no reason to be there except to smuggle and to convey instructions. Many of those instructions are to assassinate people. So we've got to break up that. One of the ways that we do that is through technology, creating video links between our courts and our prisons so that it's not necessary physically to transport people. So
I just wanted to ask you on that point. Police Minister just now was talking about the human rights of criminals versus the human rights of communities that are actually under siege at the moment. Oftentimes we hear communities talking about the fact that perpetrators are granted bail in the first instance, and then secondly that parolees are reoffending. And that, he says, is a conversation that needs to happen at government level.
Absolutely. But I think the Minister and I and everyone in government is on the same page with that. We are a constitutional democracy. We fought long and hard to have the constitution that we did because we remember what things were like 30 years and more ago under apartheid, where people could be arbitrarily arrested, detained without trial, and disappeared. We don't want to go back there. We believe that our constitution has both sufficient rights for law-abiding citizens as well as rights of accused persons. And remember, all of us at some stage in our life might become an accused person. Having said that, we are very clear that within the confines of the Constitution there's more than enough room to act legally, firmly and decisively against criminals. without compromising our constitutional values.
Minister Nal, thank you very much for your time. Of course, the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, just wrapping up the visits to Mitchell's Plain as well as to Mfuleni, engaging with communities as the Justice Cluster. This, of course, in the face of rising gang violence as well as shootings across Cape Town, but also large parts of the Western Cape, and also saying that these issues are not just subject to Cape Town or the Western Cape, but indeed that organised crime, transnational organised crime, is indeed a challenge facing South Africa.
And Vanessa, of course, as you speak about that, the big question is what then needs to be done as speedily as possible in the interim to be able that, the communities are actually a bit more safer, given some of the concerns that they continue to raise. So thank you so much for that update for us. That's my colleague there, SABC News reporter Vanessa Poonah.